Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 65. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm your host, Todd Oxtra, joined by the Canadian who lives under the sea, Mark Carabin.
Hello, and welcome. How you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Excellent.
It's kind of a heat wave. Some people are like burning. I think it's hell on earth right now, but that's okay. We're gonna get through this because we're gonna chill things out with some cool gaming talk with one of the coolest cats in the biz. We call him Mr. Badbit, Joseph Moran from the PS Trophy Room. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. I'm the one suffering from the heat wave right now, man. I've been outside all day. I'm melting. I have melted, and it's just gonna be a mellow Mr. Badbit today. I'm not gonna get crazy. I'm not gonna take my top off. This is just mellow Joe. It's nice. It's gonna be
we'd
nice.
allow it. We'd allow it. I'm sure you're wearing a bikini.
Oh, I mean, if that's the
I'm assuming you're wearing some type of tube top or bikini underneath. So either way.
What? I mean, isn't that just the normal?
Hey,
Yeah,
or maybe
everybody wears
or pasties. I don't know how you go.
Listen, you can never go wrong with a good old fashioned pasty. Just ask my dad.
Put that on. Jesus.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, Joe, we're happy to have you on. It's been a long time, actually. You were on the Last of Us 2 roundtable.
Yep.
Which was a very fun time because I think that's originally where you and Luke Lore decided to hate each other. I foolishly invited Luke on there, and he absolutely hated the game.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, that was a year ago, wasn't it? Because that was when I was in the hospital with Finn. So that was a little over a year ago now, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Man, yeah, Luke's the worst host of the Xbox expansion pass, but we don't need to mention him anymore.
Not at all. He's too busy.
We don't need it to, kill our vibe mentioning that awful human being.
No, he's too busy getting paid for mentioning Game Pass.
Speaking of which, is available. Game Pass is a fantastic service that lets you play over 100 high-quality games, day one releases, EA access, and more. You can start your first 3 months for just $1. Sign up at GamePass.com. Or whatever the hell the website is. I wish I rehearsed that. I swear,
I can't let you shill for Microsoft just like the thousands of others. Okay, it's nonsense. What I'm seeing online is absolute nonsense. Just like the nonsense that Xbox has put their first party day and date into Game Pass. All for the low price, starting at $9.99 a month. Are you kidding me? Where's my residuals, Phil Spencer?
If only I had an Xbox or PC to play. But wait, I could play on my phone or stream on my streaming device.
At the low cost of $14.99 via, Xbox Game Pass via xCloud.
Yeah.
And if you like buttons, check out the
episode of Co-op Mode. Thank you all for listening.
See you guys. It's been nice.
Big bucks. All right.
I host a PlayStation podcast. Figure it
out. That's right. Let's talk about that awesome PS Now price you can get today. Yes.
Yeah. How much is it? No one uses it, so no one knows. I'm only kidding, Todd. I know.
I actually signed up the $45 for a year for PS Now. I mean,
nice.
All said and done, it's an awesome option if you're just getting a PlayStation now and playing. So there's lots of great options, unless you're Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
So moving on. Oh, well. Now we move into a little bit of business. So, Mark, you've decided to continue to push Secret Friends Unite into the modern era of off of Facebook with the olds and pushing into new eras of interaction. So tell us all about something that we're doing now.
Yeah, well, first off, I don't want to say we're going off of Facebook because I still use Facebook all the time, especially like for work and just myself. And I love the Facebook group, but I also thought we could have something that was a little bit more conductive of conversations and stuff. So, taking a page out of the trophy room and Yumi and Capri, we're doing our own little Discord. So we have a Discord server up right now. We've been tweeting out the links. So if you're looking to join, follow any of us on Twitter. Secret Friends U on Twitter. The links are there. They're also on the website. If you see the social buttons up top, secretfriendsunite.com, there's a website link, and that will go to a Discord, directly to the Discord server. And I don't think that link ever expires, because some of the Discord links will expire after like 14 days, 7 days, whatever. So there we go. We have a Discord. There's already fun conversations going on there with a small group that has signed up already before. I think, is this the first podcast, or you guys mentioned it on Secret Friends Unite?
We did not.
Well? No. Okay. So this is the first time we're actually mentioning this on a show. So we're really excited about it, and the reaction so far has been great. And like I said, it's not even like being advertised really out there, aside from a couple of us tweeting about it. So if you're looking for some discussions about any one of the topics that we cover on any one of our shows, comics, toys, whatever, video games, obviously, Star Wars, Star Trek, it's all there. We're just kind of having fun with it, and going to be setting up that for game nights as well. So we'll have a few little voice chat channels as well. And it's just going to be a good time. And so far, everyone's just kind of hanging out and following the rules and being very, very fun and respectful. It's great.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And we've had zero nudies yet, so that's great. No
Yes,
folks.
yeah. We did have, when we hit 20 people in the server, we had our first spam bot, which I thought was wildly entertaining.
Discord gives me headaches. Running a Discord is hard, everyone. I know that too well.
Yeah, absolutely. So and we know there's a lot of great Discord channels and just Discord servers out there. So we want to do it a little bit differently, where, like I said, we are kind of a reflection of our network and just kind of a good hangout to talk about just generally geeky stuff. It's a good time. So that's the first thing. Like I said, Facebook's not going away. This is a little bit more conversational, and you can kind of, if on the Facebook page group, it's everything's all in line, right? Like if you don't care about Star Trek or toys or this or that, you're still going to see that in the group. And this, if you don't like Star Wars, you never have to go in that channel. You will not see any Star Wars stuff. If you just want to check out the video game channel, cool, check that out. So it's a little bit more like yours to play with. So it's kind of cool. The second thing is that if you're listening to this on the shared podcast feed, the one that has every single one of the Secret Friends Unite shows, there might be a change. I don't know. We want to kind of warn people. About this. Right now, that is the last thing that's hosted on Podomatic. When we started building up all the other shows, at first we were hosting on my old website, thecanardian.com, and then we kind of changed that and rebuilt that into what's now secretfriendsunite.com. So most of the shows you've not noticed a change in, which is great. Most of the solo feeds, but if you're following this on the combined feed, we're ready to flip that switch. And I don't know what's going to happen. So it could not make a difference whatsoever. You could just be following along, and one day there's something in the background that's going to change, and it's business as usual. But it also might kill everything, and you might have to re-download or resubscribe to a brand new feed. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. We will try to make sure everyone knows in the Facebook group, in Discord, on Twitter. If we do notice it breaking, we're going to send a notification just to the Podomatic stream saying, please subscribe to the new feed. So if you hear that episode, go check it out. But we'll explain all of this later. I just wanted to give people a heads up in case that's the feed that that you follow. A, there are solo streams, and B, there might be a change. I don't know. I'm really hoping that no one ever notices that we switch things over, and it's just this whole rant is useless. But I like to keep people in the know and let them know what's going on behind the scenes a little bit. So there we go. Lots of changes for Secret Friends Unite, and we're just going to keep on going based on the feedback that people give us. So let us know. Tweet, Discord, all that kind of stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, this is like our biggest year of change. I mean, we've changed our podcast recording method. Hopefully, this will stay so you have better quality. We're trying to get away from Podomatic because Podomatic just limits you how many episodes you can actually carry. So we lose episodes. So now this is going to allow we have a deep archive of content. We've been posting content. Mark just posted a really cool article on Secret Friends Unite all about E3 and his thoughts on E3 as well. So that's our goal too, to get more content out there. So if people like to write, want to do cosplay photos, they want to do some video content as well, let us know, because we just want to share the love and have people have a place to really show their talents.
Yep,
So
there's a contributor section on the website. So if you want to be added to that, let us know. We're looking for more writers. We're looking for, like Todd said, a whole bunch of stuff. We'd love to hear from you. Pitch us your ideas. Like I said, mine today, like Todd said, was a short little thing on why E3 matters, and it started to kind of pop in my head after we talked to Brock McLaughlin on the last episode. It's like, you know what, E3 still, like, we're all excited about it. We were still talking about it. All the podcasts were talking about it, obviously, but like, why does it matter? Why does it matter to have an event like this? So I wanted to kind of break that down. So go check that one out on the website, and I'll talk a little bit later about another thing that I'm writing for the site too. So yeah, it's fun stuff, man. I'm loving the change and the growth. It's awesome.
Yeah, and if we eventually get our Patreon off the ground, one of the big prizes will be Madam Web striptease. So just stay tuned.
Perfect. Next
Spoiler
up, Todd's
alert, it's actually
OnlyFans.
Charlie.
It's his greatest cosplay ever. The gig is up, as they say. Oh well. Well, we're gonna kick off the show because Joe's been on before. So instead of this time to get to know him a little better, and also me, we have buy, rent, return. This time it's Mark's choice. He gives us 3 choices, and we have to place each one of these games in one of those areas. It's kind of like Mary Boff Kill, but it's a kinder blockbuster era of gaming.
I like it. Okay, I'm choosing these just for Joe because you run a PlayStation podcast by the players for the players.
Right.
It's my favorite PlayStation podcast, but I wanted to put you a little bit on the hot seat right now. So I picked 3 games that I think is going to be difficult for you. I hope I'm right. I hope this is an entertaining choice. So the 3 games that you have to choose from with buy, rent, or return are Bloodborne, The Last of Us, and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
This is difficult because for me, it's like, okay, is this what I would recommend to someone?
No, for
Is
you.
this
You have the choice.
Is this for me?
Yeah,
okay,
it's
for me.
you.
And that's very difficult because Last of Us and Bloodborne, first off, I run PlayStation Podcast, right? Everybody knows that I have a little countdown. It's been 1,922 days since the launch of Bloodborne. Bloodborne is my favorite game of all time.
Are you going to do something
But
special
here's
for the
the thing.
2,000 days?
Maybe I'll wear something a little risky.
Okay, cool.
You gotta spice up the love life every now and again, you know? But when it comes to Bloodborne, I love that game. It's seriously amazing. But here's why I'm going to hit rent. Nay, return. Because if I'm saying these are the games you need to experience, Bloodborne ain't it. Because I think for the most people out there, you're going to be taken back by Bloodborne's introduction because it is a difficult game. So I'm going to put that to the side. If you want the challenge, pick it up as a rent. I would say that. The reason why I would say we're buying The Last of Us is because that is a touchstone in gaming, not just PlayStation. Like, there's never been a series written like The Last of Us is written as. And you don't see a lot of video games take the risks that The Last of Us does. And it's even having a show. That's how you know how well written this piece of art really is, because other entertainments are actually taking notice of it. So I would say you buy The Last of Us. And then you rent Spider-Man Miles Morales. Why are we running Spider-Man Miles Morales? Because you could, if this is a 3-day blockbuster return, policy here, you got some time with it. Like, you have just enough time to beat it, nay, maybe even platinum it. So I would say because it's a shorter experience, that's why we're running.
All right.
But how dare you try to make this a hard decision?
Mark usually got a cop out. Well, last time I picked a PlayStation game and it automatically went to return because like I don't like that game.
Todd,
So
what
I'm like,
about you?
okay.
How are you feeling on these three?
This is a tough one. Definitely, and this is what I struggle. I'm like, is it a rent because I only want to experience it once and I'm ready to let it go? In return, I don't even play I play very little of it, and it's not for me. So that's kind of how I look at it. You don't get to return something you complete. It's kind of like you never leave the one bite on your plate and then say, "Oh, please take my plate back. It was horrible, but let me eat that last bite." It's not. Right. It's not that type of thing. You basically, you tried it, and all you do is get to experience it. So you can't say I'm going to play the whole game and then return it. It doesn't work that way in our world. So I will go with by Last of Us. Everything Joe talked about, it was phenomenal. And they did include multiplayer, so maybe that's why you keep it over the other games. But I still think there's something about that game that it's just a different level. And it's something that you could go back and experience certain story beats that would just make you relive those moments. Now the gameplay, though, that's where I don't know if it's like the gameplay will want you to keep coming back to it, because the first Last of Us had some gameplay. I would say it wasn't the best, and they've obviously improved upon that. So, but Last of Us, just for where my heart lies, it's there. Then I would rent Spider-Man Miles Morales because I'm not a trophy hound. Once I beat the story, I had no interest in doing all the extra stuff because I hate the challenge modes and things like that. I still to this day have no platinums. I'm just not that guy. I know. And I've played games I've loved and I thought I've beaten everything, but it's just not the way I play either. So I'm good with 3 days with Miles Morales, loving that game. Mm-hmm. And that story, that music, all of those beats come together, and it's a very short experience too. So that's why that would be a rental for me. It's not because I didn't like it. It's just because I rarely replay games and I don't keep games. I always turn them if I have them physically. I got that one from Gamefly, which I can contribute to the buy, rent, and return, because sometimes I buy games from Gamefly. Gamefly, it's the best deal in gaming, guys. $15 a month, 2 games at a time. The newest games from all your platforms. Check out gamefly.com.
Check the promo code.
Exactly.
In the description or whatever they say.
Gamefly.com/co-op mode. Yeah, check it out. Please, Gamefly, please sponsor us. And then lastly, Bloodborne. Bloodborne is a Souls game. It is the only Souls game that I played more than the first level.
Okay, fair.
I took all the courage in the world to finally beat the first boss. And to me, that was a triumph. That was one of my greatest achievements in gaming. I beat the first boss in Bloodborne.
I'm proud of you.
I then went to
in about 15 minutes. Yeah.
I know you can, Joe. Thanks. Yeah, you're better than me. Yeah, thanks for that reminder. I went to then. I was it the cleric? I don't know what the weird priest guy in the cemetery. Yeah. Oh God! After that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm horrible at this, and I will never beat him. And then I have to go all the way back.
Yeah, he's the true check in that game. He's the skill check. Yeah. But there's an easy way to beat him. You got to take, when you're in the first level, there's a music box that you're handed with. And when he's about to transform into the beast, and that's when he gets really fast, you play that music box. It stuns him for a very long time. And you can just kill him that way. It's very easy.
Guess I should have went to the Reddit forum before I played that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh well.
Also fire knocks him right out.
Yeah, Demon's Souls of the remake on the PS5. I played that for about 15 minutes. I tried the 15 minutes over and over again. Oh, I'm like, game looks beautiful. I like what they're doing. I just don't have the tolerance for it. So that's where I'd be at. Bloodborne, return it. It's still sitting on my PS4. I don't have to return it, but it's it is what it is. So that's where I would land.
All right. Thanks, guys. I only played The Last of Us here. I still need to play Miles Morales, and I sadly I am just not skilled enough to play Souls-like games. So if I had to choose, I'd probably agree with you guys, but I might lean just because I like the superhero stuff and I find it more replayable than something a little heavier than The Last of Us, I might swap those two. Of like, I'd probably replay Miles Morales more than The Last of Us in my mind. Like I've definitely played the original Spider-Man more than I have gone back to play The Last of Us. So personally, I might swap those two choices, but I don't know because I haven't played Miles. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and being a new dad, I don't think you'd want to go back to that anyways. It's too heart wrenching.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, right. So yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah. So now that we've known what Joe likes because you liked all those experiences, now I want to know what you've been playing, Joe.
Oh man, where do I start? So I was just playing Halo 5 Warzone. Um, so I put out on Twitter at Mr. Badbit, if you're on that, of like games that are living in my head rent free, right? And it's Halo Infinite, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Kingdom Bridge of Spirits. Halo more prevalent than almost all of them, other than Elden Ring. And I need a Halo fix, So I've been trying out Warzone. The connections to those lobbies are awful, but once you find a game, it is a ton of fun, especially Warzone, where it's pretty much big team battle. I'm enjoying my time there. On PlayStation, I'm playing a little game called Scarlet Nexus, which is my attempt to get into Japanese style action RPGs. Because I really dug the art style of this game. It's kind of like cel shaded. The action's really, really cool when it works. When you actually get to play these levels, it's just it sucks in the aspect of the story is almost unfollowable. Like they don't explain the world that well. Like they have two animes that you can watch before you put the game in, I guess, to catch you up to the story, but that's not how you present your story. No. So yeah, the story is bumpkiss. The characters, for the most part, are they make the strangest decisions that are just unrealistic. And I get it. There's like floaty undead bodies everywhere, but like they make some really like you see someone straight up assassinate a dude, and like it's the guy they killed is a good guy, and then all of a sudden he's part of your team. It's like, what? Why are we trusting this guy? And like he's flirting with my character. I'm like, dude, you just killed a man, but call me. So like, it's just like it doesn't make it's also one of those Japanese like tropes of like, oh, it's the end of the world, but who do you like that type of stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's
So like I'm trying to get into it because I'm trying to get my Japanese knowledge a bit better, but I don't know about this game. The combat's stellar, but just don't know. And then when it comes to more PlayStation, I've been playing Salt and Sanctuary, which is a 2D Souls game. Absolutely loving my time there. Platinumed Ratchet and Clank, which is a perfect game. We've actually talked about that on our Patreon show, The Road to Greatness, Kyle and I. We talk about how amazing those characters are, the worlds, the action. I talk about how, maybe we bring back serfdom and that fun stuff. And then last but not least, and I see that you guys have been playing it as well, Sea of Thieves.
Hell yeah.
Let's get into
we
it.
got the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean?
You got Jack, the Jack Sparrows. I played up to Act 2, or up to 3, technically. I beat the first 2. Where are you guys in your Sea of Thieves? Because Sea of Thieves is like no BS, guys. That's my Xbox game. That is the Xbox first party game I have sunk easily the most hours into. I've put over 500 hours in Sea of Thieves.
Mercy.
Whoa.
Yeah, I love it. I'm very good at it. I've gotten great. I would like to say. So
yeah. I'm just getting back. So Sea of Thieves is the reason I got back into Xbox.
Nice.
Last generation, I went PS4 first for the first time with a PlayStation console, and then saw Sea of Thieves and said, "Nah, need me one of those." And I bought a secondhand Xbox One, Played Sea of Thieves a little bit. Was like, need this to be better. Not the game, like the whole experience. So I sold
Yeah.
that, bought an Xbox One X, and have not looked back since. And but I did drop out of Sea of Thieves, so I'm just getting back into it. I haven't played any of the Pirates of the Caribbean story stuff because I'm kind of just reacclimating myself to the game, and then I played with Todd for a little bit to get him into the game. So I'm still waiting and looking to do some of those tall tales. And I know you can do them solo, but I want to do them with a group or something like that. So need to find the time. But I played with Todd. Todd, tell us about your first experience.
So funny, I tried Sea of Thieves when it first launched, and I actually got my first subscription to Game Pass when it launched, because that was one of the big thing. It's like, oh, I want to try this game, I don't want to pay $60 for it. Hey, Game Pass, I'll do a trial. So it was kind of like right at the impetus of it. I hated it because I wanted to play it solo, and I hated trying to learn how to, pilot a ship. And I'm like, I can't see very well because it's got this big old, steering wheel in front of me, and it's kind of not intuitive. And I just really wanted a more, because I like the idea of a rare game like that, what they were doing, but I'm like, I just don't like driving a ship. Pirates is just not, pirates as a theme is just never been like, oh, I love pirates. Like, I'd rather be a ninja, or I'd rather be a space dude. But playing with Mark was a lot more fun because basically he became my Uber driver, and I just had to adjust some things, which worked perfectly for me. And Mark Sherpa'd me. He showed me exactly what to do, because still that game, a lot of stuff is still kind of very unintuitive. But once somebody shows you, then you get it. Yep. I'm like, what do I do with all this crap? I got some crap. And Mark's like, oh, you put the wood here and you do this there and you do that. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I had to do this stuff. And then it's like, oh God, what was the other thing? Oh, what should I do with this explosive barrel? Mark's like, don't put it somewhere that they can explode our ship. I'm like, I wouldn't have known that. So he puts it up the mast, and just very fun. We played together. We had some snafus for some reason with audio, because I was playing on PC and Mark was playing on Xbox. And I'm like, why are we having so much troubles? And I found out that the 3D Pulse headset the audio does not work. The speaker does not work on PC. So you can't use it for audio for some reason, which is like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. Cause I looked it up. I'm like, why is this not working? It registers, everything comes up. Yes. That's one of those things. It's like, oh, but Xbox allows you to do it. So I'm like, oh, okay. But my son's using my headset. So I ended up using a USB mic. Regardless to say, after that worked, Mark and I were smooth sailing.
Here's a hot take with these headsets. These the Microsoft Xbox wireless headsets are garbage. Don't buy them.
Wow. All right.
Hot take.
Well, I had troubles with that.
My Steel Series.
Yeah, Mark, I we were going to play Gears, and I had the Microsoft headset on PC, and it didn't work either.
Yep.
It was just a hot mess. And so I'm hoping all this stuff will get smoothed out, but I like the idea of this. I wanted to play some more, just to, like I said, get to do some more of these things. Mark is going to have to pressure me to play more cooperatively, because I'm not a big online guy. So as long as we get a crew, and I think that's what's going to happen with the Discord group, I'm hoping we can get some people there and get regular roles going.
Yeah, I was hoping to have more time this weekend, and I did post something in the Discord group, but it was weird, in the afternoon on a Sunday, and
all the dads were doing chores.
And I was like, I have a tiny window while Finn's having a nap. Let's hit something in the season. And honestly, I ended up only having a half hour of game time anyway, but no one could join me because everyone was doing adult shit, and I was like, well, gamer dad problems, I guess. I don't know, freaked around in Fortnite for 30 minutes and then left. But I really hope that I do have a bit more time to put into this. So I'll put some pressure on Todd. Don't worry.
So a quick question about this. So, obviously they added the Pirates of the Caribbean content, which is very cool. And it's funny because they do look like Disney Infinity characters now when you think about it, which is very really fun. It's really cool. Now there are pay elements, right? There are some elements of pay. I just don't know what those are. Is it just cosmetics and things like that?
Just cosmetics, just outfits and stuff.
By the Black Pearl.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm really liking it. As a Sea of Thieves fan who, Sea of Thieves is very entry level. You could be a kid and play it. You could be a dude like me and master it, right? You could be like our friend CJ, who is just the Sea of Thieves master at this game. It's very entry, kind of like Fortnite or any big multiplayer game. Basic when you look at it, broad strokes, right, with a broad view. But when you actually get into the systems, yeah, there are things that you could kind of break in order to or get a deeper understanding of to get that edge. It is actually kind of similar to like how you could break ideas or systems to your advantage in a Souls game or in a game like Returnal. You could do that here. That's why I like that game so much, because it really is at the end of the day all about communication. If your team is communicating, everybody knows their role, you guys are good. Once someone tries to be out of lockstep, everything goes to crap. Right. That said, the story missions that I've seen have done a great job of introducing what's happening in the world, introducing some new enemy types in the world, so you're not just facing skellies, and actually put in a deeper story. There's been a story there, but I think something that is way more accessible for everyone who's just stepping into Sea of Thieves for the first time. It very much reminds me of classic World of Warcraft world events. So if you love WoW and you love how those story missions kind of work, Sea of Thieves is really just taking a page out of what World of Warcraft has done in our MMOs like that. So I'm really digging this update. It's everything I wanted in Sea of Thieves.
Did you buy any of the cosmetic stuff? Did you buy like the key dog or anything like that?
Yeah. I'm a big stupid idiot. I bought the costumes.
Nice. I haven't got any of the pirate stuff, but I do. I was showing Todd a few of my pets, including my banana keet, who is one of my favorites.
So cute.
I think
so cute.
Yeah. I got a dog, and he looks like my dog Marty, so I just call him Marty, and he's my little boy, my little first mate.
Pro tip: Amazon Prime's Twitch games, whatever we're calling it. Right now there are perks. So Sea Thieves perks are there. Go there, get some free stuff.
Yes. Right. No, yeah, but the Prime perks are still up. This weekend they had a Twitch event that if you watched 20 minutes of someone playing Sea of Thieves Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you got 3 different items. So sadly, by the time you're listening to this, I did post that in the Discord group, Todd. So you didn't pay attention there.
I snoozed and I losed.
You definitely losed on that one. It was what was it? A steering wheel, a gun, and a cup. I think a beer mug thing.
Stein. Yeah. Flagon.
Mm-hmm. So that's
just a flagon.
Todd, I'll grab the next one and you can jump into the last 2 you were playing. So
sure.
I was playing Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. I was lucky enough to get a code for this one. So I've been playing this on Switch. I think it's out for everything. So PlayStation 4, PC, Xbox Series consoles, and then, PS4 or 5, all that kind of stuff. But I've been playing it on Switch. So this game is beautiful to look at. It's hand drawn, just like the Monster Boy remake that they did a few years ago. But you can also, like that game, switch on the fly. You press the right trigger and it switches back to what it looked like on the Master System, and it's really cool. They don't miss a beat. But because you're able to switch back to this very, very faithful recreation of the original game, it's incredibly unforgiving. So you die with one hit. It's very floaty controls, but there's a lot of stuff that can kill you in the environment. So you have to approach this with a different mindset. So when I first started playing it, I expected it to be like a platformer, like Super Mario Brothers, Sonic, something like that. And it's more like a Dark Souls, Super Meat Boy kind of experience. So my tips, if you want to try this game, turn on Infinite Lives. Because realistically, all it's going to do is like kick you back to the starting screen, and you're never really going to progress because there's not enough lives, and everything just wants to kill you. So it is incredibly frustrating. But when you turn on Infinite Lives, you can kind of just, like Super Meat Boy, it just kind of keeps letting you kind of retry segments or levels or whatever. And it makes it a much more manageable experience. If you really want the hardcore, maybe you loved this game on Master System. I don't have any nostalgia for this game. So my approach was like, I just kind of want to see what this is about. I was also trying to do it for a review. so, you know, I approached it like that. So my mind going in was like, I love Super Meat Boy games. And I know I said earlier that I hate like Dark Souls or style kind of games because I'm not good enough, but like I will beat my head against a wall for a Super Meat Boy style game. And I don't know why I'm broken like that, but I am. So let's just keep going with it. Basically, I loved this game until I hated it. Essentially, so once you play it like that, like I found myself really progressing and starting to get good and starting to kind of feel my confidence go up and realizing like there's a 1 pixel hit point kind of thing for the enemies before you can punch them, you know, or else they'll kill you. So you start getting good at that. You start kind of learning the floaty controls and being able to pull off a couple of jumps in 1 or 2 attempts instead of, you know, 16. But then I got to a part that's further on in the game that makes the sewer seaweed part of Super Ninja Turtles for the NES. It makes that look like it was a well-designed piece of a game. And that's it for me. I beat my head on this one little part that it's like pixel perfect that you have to swim through this thing, but you're also floating up. So every time you press down, you can tap down and you go. And so I played this with a Pro controller. I played this with the NES or the Super Nintendo controller for the Switch because I find that D-pad's better. I played it in handheld mode with brand new Joy-Con to make sure everything was accurate. And then I got my brother to play it. He put about a half hour into it, into this one stupid little segment. And we both basically were like, okay, I either need to stop this for my sanity or smash this Switch like hard. So I'm done there. I would replay the game up until that point again, but I know that I will not put any more time into that part. So
now, how much time did you put into this game?
Several hours.
Several hours?
Yeah, I'd say a couple of hours, easy. Yeah.
So this is your Bloodborne.
I guess, yeah. This is something. I definitely, I sunk a few hours into
the music box from the cemetery, Mark.
Yeah, did you use it?
Maybe that's what I should have gotten before. Yeah. I don't. Maybe there's a trick to this part of the game, and maybe like Todd, I should have looked up Reddit, or I'll talk to someone, or someone will listen to this and message me and be like, "You're an idiot. Do this." Haha. I had a Master System growing up, and this is my only game. I need that person to message me. But until that happens, I will happily put this game away. Now there's a boss rush mode and there's a few other modes that like I will play because it's entertaining and the dialogue is really weird and it's a very fun game. And like I said, I loved it till I hate it. I'm working on a full written review. So there's all the stuff that I just said and more. That's going to be on the website probably by the time this episode goes up. So if you want to hear more about my thoughts and see some screenshots of me dying repeatedly, go to secretfriendsunite.com and check out the review.
I tell you, there is like a series of, especially like I think I bought Monster Boy on the Switch because I'm like, it's beautiful. These hand-drawn visuals are wonderful. And it's funny because I liked Monster Boy until I didn't like it anymore. Mm-hmm. It's almost like they said, we're just going to give us a fresh coat of paint, but we are not going to touch the gameplay, which to me just seems like it's a lost opportunity because games like that just, unless you have to take a certain viewpoint, like I'm just going to treat this like a Meat Boy or something like that. It just seems like I don't know who the audience is for because the people that are nostalgic for it maybe can't play games the way they used to, like when they were 12 and that was the only game they had. So they were going to do everything because I have to, I have nothing else to play. So I'm just going to go through this. So I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. So I think this might be for somebody, but based on what you said, Mark, I can avoid this safely.
I remember those days of like, DuckTales for the NES being the only game that I got for a year or whatever it was. And like, I think I told this story before. Like I had my friend's like shitty cousin who would be like, yeah, you got to beat this game 3 times in a row without getting hit and you unlock some secret thing. And I was like, I'm going to do that. And I practiced until I could do that. And I did it and nothing happened. And I was like, I hate that guy so much.
Kids. Yeah, those kids sucked.
Playground rumors and secrets.
So that's going to factor in later. But like, it was one of the, like, I've never seen that guy again in my life. I'd hit him with a car if I did, because I still remember his dumb, stupid face telling me to beat DuckTales 3 times. I've played that game in the Disney Afternoon Collection. No,
No.
not like but like so there's someone that has been waiting for this. Like I waited for the Disney Afternoon collection, but it yeah, it's hard to recommend. But as someone with no nostalgia, like I still loved it up until I didn't. So
Mhm.
it's a cool game. Check it out
Okay.
if any of that sounds appealing. I don't know.
Absolutely.
If you're in for a good challenge.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, it's
Challenge.
gonna challenge you for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, a game that you can all play now on Game Pass is D&D Dark Alliance, which just makes me think that maybe Xbox Game Pass needs a seal of approval, like Nintendo had back in the day.
Oh no.
Uh,
Yeah.
Everybody's so excited about this game. It's Game Pass day one. It's going to be there. It's kind of a Diablo-like, but it's from a third-person perspective. It's apparently, I didn't know much about this, but if you are a big D&D fan, these are iconic characters that have storylines and things like that. So I'm like, okay. But the interesting part about this game is there's 4 characters. Driss Duarden is like the most, I say, famous of these characters. A Dark Knight, you see, or Dark Elf, you've seen him before. He has like the white face and the dark hair, or black. Maybe it's reverse, black face, white hair. I can't remember. He's a dark elf. So, but he's very big in that genre, and it's all basically, this is one of those games where it's a weird mix of like campaign. It's co-op up to 4 players, local and online, I believe. And then, but it basically has a hub and you go on missions. So it's not like it's a standard, like you go progress and you keep going. And it's very odd. It almost feels like it's like an Anthem or something like that. Maybe like a Destiny where you're doing like the missions and it zaps you back. So it's very weird. And the AI is either the dumbest in the world if you play at a regular level, or the hardest in the level if you play at like a normal level. It's weird. It's just very odd. Like I was getting my ass kicked at like medium difficulty, but then I went to like difficulty 1. It was like they wouldn't even pay attention to me. I had to like shoot arrows at them to get attention to them. So, but as I played this game, I just felt like it was one trick pony. And after you played the first level, that was all there to be done. And basically, it's just rinse and repeat. It's one of those games like Anthem where you get gear, but you can't put it on until you go back to the hub after the mission. So it's like, that's frustrating. Yeah, I mean, so it's a brawler. It's competent in a way, but it was very buggy. Like I would kill an enemy and you just see his body kind of skirt away and like, where are you going? It was like an ice cube floating across the ground, and then eventually go into the background like, where'd you go, bud? Did you steal my gear? Where's my gear I got for beating you? It went away. It was very weird. The voice talent was pretty decent, but I don't really know if there was going to be a cohesive story because, like I said, you play a mission and it zooms you back to this little hub place. And yeah, it just
not good from what I hear, Todd.
No.
For what I've seen, it's abysmal.
It's pretty bad.
And I don't use that word lightly. Like, the classes are incredibly unbalanced from what I've seen. Depending on if you're in a higher elevation than your enemies, your abilities actually won't do damage to them. Glitches galore. This game, this is wow. Wow. When I just saw things with my human eyes, and I have this on Game Pass, I could easily, which is $9.99 by the way, per month. It's still a deal. And I uninstalled it because I was like, my time's valuable, man. I could be doing so, like, it's kind of like in the age of streaming. Do I really want to watch the show about you're dating but you have a dinosaur face? No.
Sexy beast, come on, Joe.
Sexy beast, there you go. No, I want to watch Stranger Things, or Mando, or whatever. That's what I feel here, and I see a lot of people defending this game or pretending to enjoy this game simply because it is on Game Pass. And the argument of, well, you know, it's here, you can just try it. It's like, no, that's not good. That's not a good take. That's not a good. You don't need to defend this game because it's on Game Pass or vice versa. Just avoid,
especially with a service like Game Pass that offers over 100 high quality games that are different than this one for the low price of $9.99 a month.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it is a conundrum because you'd say, well, this has been hyped up. It's a day one, but then ultimately I've got to say this: Xbox, you lose games, they come in. maybe it'll be a little bit more pickier about what you put on the service then. Just putting something on there because it's new seems to be a fool's errand. And they could put those funds that they paid to get that game on there on something better, is my thought. Because
It
essentially,
seems like they wanted to put that on there so they can prove that the engagement for a game is there if it's on Game Pass.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a very easy thing to do. No offense to any of these games, because there's a lot of games I've played because of Game Pass. That because these games are new experiences or whatever have you, like MLB The Show was a PlayStation exclusive. Now it's on Xbox. The one before that, and why can't I remember it? Started with a D. Oh my god, Square Enix game. Like those are not one and dones, but they're games that are relatively high risk because they're newer IP or IP that's unproven on a platform. So you could say, hey, listen, I'll pay you 10, 20 million bucks, get this thing day to day on the service. We'll prove to you that you'll have people on your game in these servers.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like they're doing. And I think this is the one dud that they've had in terms of games on that service, because it is not good.
No, and this kind of was their like.
Do you guys think this was a calculated move by both the developer and by Xbox of saying, basically, we're going to get D&D fans. Game development is tough, but there has to be a point where you're working on a game, you have to release it, and you kind of know it's like a turd, but it's like, you can polish a turd all you want, but it's still going to be a turd. So like, you have to come up with a game plan. So was their game plan to partner with Xbox and say, look, this is going to get hopefully this many hardcore Dungeons and Dragon fans signing up for Game Pass for a month, trying out the service. It's going to bring people to your platform. We know this is going to only equal to this many sales, most likely, because the game sucks. Can we make a deal that way? Like, is there DLC? Maybe they cut a deal that way or something like that with Xbox.
No, I think they 100% knew this game was a piece of crap.
Right.
Yep.
So I
like, there's no way you look at this going, oh my god, this is great. This is definitely them going, okay, we know that this is a solid 4 at IGN. So we're going to take this deal because we know these reviews will nuke this game, nuke the sales. This game is going to be a failure. I think Wizards of the Coast knew it. I think whoever was developing this game knew it. And Xbox wanted something out there, a cheap get in the wake of what would be Ratchet or a just incentive of this whole thing called Game Pass that we've been selling, right off the heels of the Xbox Bethesda showcase. So it was just a nice little like a gift bag you could even consider of like, look, you have something immediate to look forward to, something in the medium future in July to look forward to, the Ascent. You have something in August to look forward to, which is Psychonauts, and Halo in September. Let's be real. That's what's coming.
Yeah, I think that was their play. They wanted something new. Every month they wanted to have like consistent releases of why you come to Game Pass. Now the funny part is, if they'd paid, I don't know how much they would have had to pay more. They could have got Crimson Nexus, Joe, a game you played, which arguably I would say is probably better quality. Just as it's buyer beware though, in regards to like, do you like anime, do you like those things? But probably at least it's competent and would have been much more successful. And it's funny, the best game on Game Pass this year so far was developed by Sony.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. And that's Xbox's play right now. They know they just do not have the games ready that from their first parties yet to do that. So they basically put their money where the mouth is. They've got more money than Jesus. And then they can just put these releases and it works out. And those games will only be around for a while. They'll be, 6 months and then they'll come to PlayStation or whatever, or a year they'll leave. And so it becomes a calculated game of, we just want as many people on our service. That's why it's $1 a month for the first 3 months. These are all things to get people on and it gives them something to play. And I will say this though, with the Xbox Series S, my hard drive space is more value than my time or my money these days, because holy cow, that's the problem right now. You don't have enough hard drive space to store everything because Series S and Series X are still pretty limited. Even you can only max out 2 terabytes right now on the Xbox Series X with that's the max you can do until they create bigger cards or something like that. And that was my question actually. Quick pulse. This is off topic, but do you guys think they have a solution to support more than one card eventually, like a hub or something?
No, I think we're just going to see bigger cards.
Oh,
on
so
your
it's gonna be
cards.
like the Vita life where I have to what game is on which card and I gotta swap around. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. Oh
That's
well.
why I haven't bought. I haven't made
Me
an
neither.
expansion purchase yet. I've just been deleting games, and my internet speed's pretty great, so I can
Yeah.
very quickly, delete and
Mark, you're doing it
re-download most
wrong.
games.
Get a Bertha
Uh,
hard drive and just
yeah.
transfer. It just
Yeah, I
transfer.
guess
It's so
I
much
I
faster.
could that. Yeah, but for me, this solution works, and
Yeah.
I usually kind of know what I'm going to be wanting to play, or whatever. So I can always, eat up a half hour even for the biggest game to download or whatever. But that's one of the reasons because I'm expecting bigger hard drives and they're going to be more expensive. But I'm also hoping
I
the
hope
price
so.
comes down a bit. But we'll see year 2, year 3, whatever. But for right now, this just deleting stuff works for me.
Yeah.
I'll fill up like
I,
85%, 90% of my hard drive, and I'll be like, I haven't played this game in 3 months, so see ya.
Yep. Bye
yeah.
bye.
I was looking at my Series S. You can only fit Gears, Halo, and one other game on a Series S.
Mercy.
That's it.
Oh boy.
3 games. So as bad as
Oh
people
boy.
complain about the PlayStation, I'm like they should have put a terabyte in the Series S because I'm like at that point I'm like so
Yeah.
I use my I have an SSD USB where it literally takes like 15 seconds to transfer a 10 gig game. So that's why I'm saying get a big hard drive, do that. It's so much faster and it's really nice because it tells you what's where. It's really
Yeah.
nice. So do that.
All right.
Lastly, though, I played Yakuza Like a Dragon because it was free on Game Pass, and this is actually a much better game for what they launched. But it's obviously 6 months old, not a new release, but it's still beloved. And I thought I would give this a try. I've now played Yakuza 0, I've played Judgment, and now I've played Yakuza Like a Dragon. Not beat, played. I would say I returned all 3. None of them are for me because it does the immortal sin of a lot of JRPGs. You do a lot more of sitting and watching than actually playing,
Mhm.
which to me was frustrating because I was enjoying playing. But it was like I probably had 2 battles in the first 4 hours. And to me, that is just like ridiculous. It's like,
It's like, why am I playing? Like, this is a game. I'm supposed to.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about the
I get
relationship.
it.
Like storytelling along the way as you're playing battles. A game like Last of Us, Uncharted, other games, they put so much story in as you're experiencing the game versus stop and watch a movie, stop and do that. And it's like, oh, guys, can we
Biomutant
do
all
something
over
different?
again.
Absolutely. So it's very frustrating because I think there's a great game to play there, and I was actually enjoying the combat. I don't like turn-based JRPGs, but the way they did it, it was so much fun, and I thought this is really solid.
Yeah.
But I don't want to play 80 hours of a game that really only needs to be 20 hours. I want a South
Yeah.
Park Stick of Truth JRPG because those games they stick to the story. You auto level essentially to get through it, and this game just like, oh my god, I know you're having fun with it, but it's just not for me. So, and when people tell me, oh yeah, and it gets to one point in the game where like you're 40 hours and you're thinking you're going to be done, the level cap increases like so much that you're then basically grinding for another 20 hours before you can even progress the story.
Mercy.
I think we've
Yeah,
got to
I'm
move
good.
on from this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Enough
I
for
mean,
me.
a lot of people love it, but I just have, to your point, Joe, I've got too much other games to play to just be weighed down by one that I kind of like, and I have to get through
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Well, man, I ended up this on a downer note, guys. Man, oh man, I'm still playing Ratchet and Clank. I love that game. All I can say is I just want more. And my biggest fear in that game is I'm going to beat the game before I get all the weapons. But that's my biggest complaint.
I'm still
maybe
playing
this
Fortnite.
becomes your first
Loki's.
platinum.
Yeah, there we go. Platinum it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still playing Fortnite. Joe mentioned it, and Loki is coming to Fortnite as the Fortnite
Dude,
That's
looks so
right.
good.
I love the design. It's like based off of the Avengers, like the first Avengers kind of Loki with like the giant spikes, and he's got the pointy stick of mind control Doom.
Boop, boop.
He looks awesome. I can't wait.
Okay, well, that
Yeah.
was an expanded version of what we've been playing, but it's good to catch up. We only do this every 2 weeks, so we play a lot. We want to talk about these games and experiences. So, well, gentlemen, it's time to talk some news very quickly. There's some news bites before we get into the topic of the show. So, Mark, take it away.
I am so excited. And really, this is going to be a very short one. We had a Smash Direct today, a little showing off the new character. And we've got Dante, a few other. These are just me fighter characters, so it's not like the best ever. But like we've got like the Skyrim guy, Dante from Devil May Cry.
Dovahkiin.
Sorry, Dovahkiin. Yes. But shit, yeah. I'm tired, Joe. I know you are too.
I get it.
But you're brighter than I am. But the one I'm excited about, the one I've been wanting this character in Smash. Kind of sad. It's just a me fighter costume, but you know what? I'll accept it. Shantae, Smash Brothers. That's it. Let's move on to the next story.
You whip your hair back and forth. You whip your hair back and forth.
Real talk. What a disrespect for all these characters. These me costumes. Just don't give us anything.
True.
Disrespect us like this. We got one last chance.
Yeah.
One last chance to put Master Chief in Smash. You got some dude from Tekken. Who's played Tekken? Not me. Not anyone here. Well, what is this? What's going on here?
This guy.
Knock it off, Nintendo. Do what's right.
So many of the Fighter Pass characters have been in my opinion, like they've been neat little novelties, but like there's none that I've seen for a while that have been like probably since Banjo-Kazooie that I've been like, yes, that person, like that character deserved to be in Smash. Like there's so many that it's like, oh, cool. Yeah. I kind of vaguely remember that game from the 90s, or like, yeah, okay, that was a thing at one point. Like, but there's so many of them that have just been like, ugh, where's Chief? Where's Kratos? Where's friggin' Fortnite guy? Like, just put someone.
Like Fortnite guy would make sense. I don't know. Yeah. I get it. Let's get to the next story. I'm sorry. We're all depressed.
I get it. Yep.
Fushra Smash Bros.
There we go.
Next story, we have Microsoft has today just basically finally released the cloud streaming service available now for PCs and also iOS devices. It was already on Android. So it's there now. And they were saying they were going to upgrade to Series X hardware in their servers, and they finally have done it. So this is a big move. It's now available everywhere. I think it's not everywhere yet. It's not on TVs yet.
It's going to be everywhere for now. Yes, yeah, they're expanding to TVs and more devices like that. But this is basically anything with a browser. So it's running Safari. It's iPad, iOS. Like I've been in on the beta for iOS for a while, but like it's awesome. It's just on every single device.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very cool. It works. And today, gentlemen, I played it just to check out to see if the Series X servers were really noticeable. I tried Destiny 2 and I played Gears. I honestly did not see a difference.
I don't know. Like loading time or anything? There's no...
I hardwired for it. I have a 1 terabyte connection, a 1 gig connection, sorry. So, and I'm doing it on my PC. So it doesn't have to worry about Wi-Fi or anything like that. And yeah, Destiny felt like I was playing it sub 30 frames per second. So I was impressed, I should say, because I'm like, I want this to be good because Destiny does 60 frames per second on Series X. Gears was fine. The load times didn't feel that much more snappier because that was going to be a big thing. So maybe it's there. Not everything is converted. There's no easy way to see. Yeah. There's no really easy way to see on any of the app streaming that says like optimized for Series S and X. But I know Gears is, and I know Destiny is. So that's the problem. So I don't think this, and maybe we're jumping to conclusions because I'm not sure if Microsoft's actually even confirmed that this is everywhere for everything. Because they don't do servers all at once. They have servers farms across the United States and world. Yeah. So maybe it's not there yet. So maybe we all jump to conclusion it's just not there yet. But from my experience, I was not impressed. It felt like I was playing it previously.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's not, this ain't it yet. And I know I'll come off as a big Sony pony here, but I have an iPhone because I am a normal person and I respect myself. And the xCloud, or now, Xbox Cloud Gaming Service, awful name, just stick to xCloud, please. But on Safari is bad, lags bad. It's very clunky. Mm-hmm. I haven't tried the latest update yet, truth be told, but I played it a few weeks back and I was just it's still not here yet. Not to say that it'll never be here. It will be here in 5 years, not right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I walked away unimpressed, and that kind of sucks because honestly, I feel like the cloud talk. I was talking to my friend Ains, and he said it perfectly. Xbox is always kind of too transparent, and they talk too early about things, and they bring things out too early. It's a little rough around the edges, and that's the perfect analogy here for Xbox cloud gaming. As yeah, you can play it on your PC, iOS, but man, oh man, it doesn't play that great. Now, at the end of the day, what they're targeting is people that are either super casual or low income folks. But even then, I'm like, if you're low income, you don't have great internet. I don't see how this is actually viable. And yeah, some people have been like, look at this is near playing on my phone, but like I have gigabit at my house. In my house, this games play like crap. So I don't know what internet these people have. Probably not American internet, you know that for sure. So yeah, I'm unimpressed with what they showed, honestly.
I mean, this is honestly, I think this is the gateway to countries that Xbox is not important. This is basically
Absolutely.
like, this is Japan. This is how they get there. Yeah. I mean, they were saying, I was watching a Spawncast and he was like saying, oh, big spike for Xbox. They sold 3,400 Xboxes and now they're at like 15,000 Xboxes compared to almost 1 million of PS5s. Yeah. I'm like, that's not how they're going to win there. People don't want a box. In Japan, it's a mobile culture. That's why Switch sells more than anything else, because they want something they take everywhere. Japan, a country like Korea, those countries this works for, maybe China, because
it's a really easy thing for shareholders and for your audience to get excited about when you talk in percentages. Like we grew by 300%, but like, yeah, I checked some of the charts. I'm like I'll check right here right now. Like I go to VG charts. And this is because Xbox doesn't release their numbers, so we have to do the digging for them. But in Japan, again, good on you. You've done well. Not saying this is good for you. You sold 2,000 Xbox Series consoles compared to the 20,000 that PlayStation 5 has sold, compared to the 80,000 that Switch has sold in this week, right? So yeah, and like you take a look at those numbers in like UK, PlayStation 5's at 77, Series 31. So it's just like we get percentages are impressive, but when we get to the brass tacks, console market in Japan and South Korea are shrinking. The markets that you want to hit are PCs, and you want to hit mainland China with PC connectability and mobile with the Korean and Japanese markets. That's how you should be doing it with xCloud. So maybe it works way better in Japan, but even then I'm just skeptical.
Yeah, I tried playing Destiny 2 when I had my friend and Logan were over at the house. They were using they brought a Series X over. Logan was playing a Series S, and I was playing on PC streaming, because that's the only way you could play crossplay yet, because there's no Destiny 2 on Game Pass on PC. Come on, bring that over. Yeah. There's no crossplay yet. That's coming. I was practically purposeless. I was basically there to stay alive if I could. It's just not for Twitch gaming. Now, I would say there's probably a case for games that are more like turn-based or puzzle games or something like that. But in regards to anything that requires any type of quick response, it's just not there yet. Now, one thing I do think is maybe a factor in all of this, upload is important with gaming, because that's your response back to the servers of what you're doing. Most people's upload speed is horrible. I have 1 gig down, 50 megabytes up. It's horrible. So that might be part of it too. But most people, I would say, are in the same boat, where it's not asynchronous, where it's the same up and same down. Fiber, I think, is the only way you can really do that, or maybe DSL, asynchronous DSL. Most cable internet is just not great for that. So that's my other thought on it. So, but regardless, I think this is a first volley there. And Joe, I think you're right. They are getting, I think what they try to do is scare Stadia away. Because in a lot of ways, because Stadia's tried doing this, and at this point, we've not heard Stadia in their upgrade path. When they launched 2 years ago, they said, hey, we're faster than Xbox One X. Well, now we got Series X blades, and we have no clue what Stadia is doing. And I just don't expect Stadia is going to keep revving up their tech in those servers.
No, I think
Yeah.
City is done.
Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to chime in with was this. I don't think Xbox sees this as a selling point right now. I think it's a nice bonus for those of us who want to test out streaming, gaming, and that kind of stuff. You know, we're already in Game Pass Ultimate. This is just another nice little feather in the cap that we're not really going to use much yet. Like Joe said, I think it's got about 5 years. But it's also showing Stadia like you're not the only player in this game right now, and we're going to keep pushing it because we also have the physical hardware to back it up. I've been saying all along, I think Stadia is like 5 to 10 years ahead of itself. It still needs some sort of physical box media, something that you can download and have, because internet speeds just aren't there. So it's
Mhm.
I think this is a long game from Xbox. And I think right now it's like I said, kind of almost a fun tech demo.
It
Yeah.
truly is, yeah. I mean, but this is and this is Xbox's future. Regardless, what I say, they don't want just 80 million boxes; they want 800 million users. The only way they're going to do that is through cloud. So, as much people say it's the access, the boxes will be the niche piece, and the cloud will be the main part of their business ongoing, because that's where they're all about services. That's how they make 80 times the amount of money they make off versus just the subscription services, which I'm thinking that's why I'm so determined that they are going to announce a cloud subscription service entry point, $5 a month.
Yep.
Because they can get so many more users, and then they get people buying stuff, skins and things like that. It just creates more revenue. So I think the box, especially when you don't make any money in the box, you actually lose money in the box. The investors are like, why are we doing this? We can be on the cloud and take a start. Because you guys heard about Kim Swift. They hired her. She is in charge of their cloud gaming. So basically they're going to make games that are made for the cloud. And that's where it could be a game changer as well. That
And
uses the
she's going to be
services.
helping Kojima's Xbox project, right? So
Rumored, Joe.
it's happening.
Which
So like
leads us into the next story. Actually, our topic, which is about rumors, and which led us to Joe's rumor with Kim Swift and Kojima, but led us actually into a really cool story with Joe being on of a potential rumored expandalone. What did you call it, Mark?
Yeah, I think it was expandalone. Yeah.
So, Joe, you want to tell us about this rumor?
Sure. So this is a little rumor, a little ditty for you. And I got this one from Screen by Brianna Reeves. Ghost of Tsushima, standalone expansion, Ghosts of Ika. Sorry, I'm going to mispronounce his name, and I apologize to all my Japanese listeners out here. Ikashima domain registered after Ghost of Tsushima DLC rumors. So, industry insider Shabelle Nick sparked talks of an alleged standalone expansion just a few days ago, claiming to have heard a word that Sony and Sucker Punch plan to launch an experience sometime in the later 2021. At the same exact time, internet sleuths have found out that Ghosts of Ikashima, that domain, that web domain, is taken by Sony. So this is now this is not just a rumor anymore. This seems like it's happening. Seems like all signs are pointing that this is a thing that exists. This I was gonna save this for the trophy room, boys, but I'll give this to you for free.
Ooh.
This screams to me we are not getting Horizon Forbidden West this year. That hurts me. That pains me. Because Horizon is an amazing game, and that gameplay showcase was stunning.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I don't know if you played this game, Mark, but Ghost of Tsushima is honestly a perfect game. Like, this is, the more I think about it, the higher this thing jumps from my top 10 to my top 3 games just ever made. Like, it takes the good parts of Breath of the Wild, that exploration, like you constantly having that main path, but you deviating because you found a fox you want to pet, or a bird that's going to lead you to a gosh dang haiku, or jumping into a spa and you see a nice juicy butt. It's an amazing game. And so to know that we get more of that, rumored to be on PlayStation 5 and PS4. And on top of that, Sucker Punch has worked on these experiences with Infamous Festival of Blood.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super jazzed at the prospect of playing Ghost of Tsushima, because I'm gonna be honest, I platinumed that game. I even played it on New Game Plus. I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm tapped. Sony, I'm done. But I want an experience. I want to experience that 60 FPS. So yeah, I'm a huge, even look at that collector's edition.
Nice.
That's Scotch Stain collector's edition right
Oh.
behind me. So I'm infatuated with this game. I'm so pumped. But I don't know what you guys think. Maybe does this scream Horizon gets delayed till February? Do you see this actually happening? I want Mark, you seem like you're intrigued by the prospect. I don't know.
I watched my brother play Ghost of Tsushima for a while, like a few hours, and was super impressed with what I saw. I have not played it myself, but absolutely loved just sitting back and watching him play through this. And like you said, he's following one path, and then he sees something off. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go check those trees, or I'm gonna go check this, or look at those guys. I'm gonna go slice them in pieces." And it's beautiful. It's on my list of games that I need to fire up my PlayStation for, and an expansion of that is fantastic. Is there room for this and Horizon? I think
Here's
you're
the
onto
thing:
something.
if it is, if there is room for this, let's then break it down
Mhm.
for the first year of the PlayStation 5. That everybody's like, oh, wasn't this console worth it? You've got in Miles Morales, and again, some of these games you can also play on PS4. I get it, but like you got the standouts that is Miles Morales, Sackboy, Asher's Playroom, which is stellar, and I put that as a standalone. You've gotten Demon Souls, you've gotten Returnal, you've gotten Ratchet and Clank. If you get Horizon in here, that's a bonus. If you get Ghost of Tsushima in here, that's like you've gotten. They literally gave you 7 games, and then like plus you could even throw in that Final Fantasy 7 intergrade. Like look at this, the 9 games. I don't even know how many fingers I'm holding up anymore.
Almost all the fingers.
We're eating here at PlayStation Nation. We may not have Game Pass. It may not be as crazy as the deals and steals you get over at Game Pass, but damn, am I having a blast with this console?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if it's true, but are they? I don't know.
Well,
It scares me.
Sony's delivering what they did on PS4. They launched a steady stream of games that you can only play on PlayStation at this year, and they're banging it. Xbox is not releasing games they've created. They're buying a lot of games and putting games out there. So the only game you're getting from Xbox this year that is made completely by one of their own studios, you are getting Psychonauts, but that was essentially developed before they actually came to the console, is you're getting Halo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost the first full year and no real first party games. So that's the experience. So it's not about exclusives to PS5. It's just games you can only play on a system. And that's pretty impressive. And for me, this is, and I remember, I think Sean Layden or someone else talked about this, is games are getting too expensive and they're taking too long to make. So the fact is you can make smaller experiences that are top notch and get them out more regularly and give people a full meal, like Miles Morales to me was a full meal, is exciting to me, because I don't want to just wait. I mean, if you're a Halo fan, you've waited 6 years to get a Halo game. I mean, these long windows, it's like, I want to play more. So I'm excited for this. And especially they've had success with these smaller bite-sized experiences.
You've made a great point there as well. Like, the more I take a look at, like, a 30-hour experience is my limit. Like once we get to the 40 hour, I'm like, oh cool, I think I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm taking a look at Scarlet Nexus, and they're like, yeah, this is like a 50-hour game. I'm like, do I have 50 hours of this game in me? No, but I do. I can have I can have a good dozen-hour experience. Like Ratchet and Clank is a 15-hour experience for me. Beat it, loved it. Every second of it. If I could have that type of quality in that window, I'm having a blast. I think we're taking a look at a lot of devs looking at how many people have actually, like Battlefield 5, great example. You take a look at that trophy list. Only 30% of all players beat the first level in that game. Goes to show you that some people, when it comes to certain games, aren't interested. So it's like they're looking at the completion rate for Ghost, and I think for Ghost and Spider-Man, it was the highest completion rate they've ever seen in a game,
Mm-hmm.
in their lineup. So yeah, I'm with you there. We see a lot of PlayStation studios. Insomniac is definitely one of them. They put out 3 games this year. Like, I'm counting that remaster. You gave us a good remaster of your PlayStation 4 game. You gave us a standalone, call it DLC, sure, but a standalone game that is Miles Morales. You gave us Ratchet and Clank, and we still know that there's another team. So, like, they're working on so much. Same with Sucker Punch, a small team, but dedicated. Have an engine, have the assets. All they have to do is put those things in place. So, like, even Santa Monica has at least 2 teams. The Gorilla has multiple teams. I think it's 2. So, like, you're seeing that. Yeah, they have 16 studios, but they have multiple teams at each one. So I think the thing that Jim Ryan said is you're going to see the most games we've ever put out here in this generation. That's awesome to look forward to for sure.
Absolutely.
That's been my TED Talk.
So the topic of the show is rumors, love them or hate them,
Yeah.
and best and worst of all time. But for this first rumor that we just discussed, give it your BS meter. 10 is this is never coming out. This is ridiculous. Who made this? 0 is a duh. Yes, coming out next week or whatever. It's reality check. So, Mark, what's your reality check on this rumor?
Oh, I think this is like a 1 or a 2. Like it's just a matter of when. I mean, there's so much evidence. You know, there are rumors, and then there's like fact-checked rumors, and I feel like this is pretty low on the scale. Like this seems to me like it's happening. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, likewise.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I think this is definitely real, dude.
Yeah,
I think this is 100%. Like, I even think this was supposed to be one of the biggest surprises out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the rumored showcase that may or may not happen in a week or 2.
That's it. Yeah, that's like the other part of this rumor, right? Is like, is it PlayStation? What is it? PlayStation Showcase or whatever I think they're calling it.
Yeah.
PlayStation event coming up. Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The rumored they have all. We could just call it a state of play, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So I mean, like that. Yeah, that should be happening soon. You'd think they kind of skipped E3 for the most part, you know, like so something's got to happen at some point. So
yeah,
there's so many things that
even,
are lining up.
Yeah, and where because I know you're more of an Xbox guy. Where do you see if this rumored event comes to fruition?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Sony is it back against they're backed into a corner here with the Game Pass stuff that we've seen out of Xboxes this showcase? Do you think they need to show like, hey, we have our equivalent, not as good, but we have something at the showcase? No. Like, do you think they actually even come at a point of strength? You think?
I honestly, I think they're feeling good right now. I don't think they need to have some, like, I don't think they need to rush out a Game Pass competitor. Hey there, poppers.
It's a pop. Hey, audience, we see a pop. Oh, it's a good boy. Hello. I just got a face. So I love him. I'll die for that dog.
And we are not streaming, so I can edit all this to hell. That's so fair. Wasn't sure if you guys were doing that or not, but by all means.
Yeah, we kind of kept talking.
No, we're having a nice little chit chat. Yeah,
we'll.
But yeah, I think they're in a good position. We often like romanticize like the console war, but I think both people are doing really good, and both companies have made the most money they ever have. Mm-hmm. So when we're like, is Sony back in the corner? I think they have to show something of what their plans for a Game Pass alternative
I don't know if they do, man. I really don't know. Like, I think they can, honestly, they can just say like, here are our games. They're full price. You know what? They're higher than full price. They're new full price, and you're going to buy them because we don't need a Game Pass because we actually have games. And, being the Xbot on the show, like, I'm okay saying that because they're two very different experiences. And I can imagine myself eventually getting a PS5. I'm broke AF right now, so it's not going to happen immediately. I made a calculated decision to go Xbox first this round, but that's just a thing. But like I have nothing against a PlayStation 5. My PlayStation 4 is still attached to my TV. Like it's it's just one of those things that most of my time spent is spent playing online games, whether it's new like Sea of Thieves or Fortnite. And my Fortnite experience is best, and I like the controller on Xbox better. To be honest, I don't like the inline sticks. It's just a personal preference, but will Sony releasing a Game Pass competitor tempt me to get a PlayStation faster? No. What's going to tempt me is games like another Ghosts or Ratchet and Clank or whatever. Like that's what's going to tempt me to get PlayStation. It's not going to be PlayStation Now Super Plus that with streaming or something. Like it's just not in the equation for me.
I got you.
It's PlayStation All Play, by the way, gentlemen.
That's what it's called. It's just that is not that's not pushing me to get a PlayStation faster than I want to. It's the experiences on PlayStation that I want.
Interesting take.
Yeah.
Interesting take.
It is interesting, though, when you compare the two, Nintendo and Sony, who sell their games as a premium experience. It's why you buy their box and all these things. Nintendo's getting no heat whatsoever on why don't you do this. No. Sony's getting all the heat in the world. Yeah. And yet Sony is the most, I would say, the most successful video game company right now in the world. Yeah. I mean, they're making dollars over. I mean, that's just,
Nintendo still kicking ass.
Nintendo's
right?
kicking
they can make a game.
Absolutely. But if you look what Sony, if you look at ultimately, I think Sony's been the game 10 less years. Sony has sold. Look how many boxes they've sold in that short period versus them. Look how, I mean, they've never sold less than 80 million of a home console. Yeah. Nintendo has not sold many 80 million consoles except for handheld. Yeah. So, and the amount of software, they've sold more software on the PS4 than any other system ever. So, and they're making dollars. I mean, all.
And honestly, that's such a great point, because I think PlayStation really is playing with the idea of how Nintendo are we? How Nintendo are we? If we just focus on these experiences that we know we're getting good at, we're at our peak. It doesn't seem like the talent is straying away from us. If we could keep this momentum, which it looks like you can, how do we even need a service? Because we don't ask that of Nintendo. Where's our Nintendo? Ooh, I'm sorry if you heard that. People love the drag race on Discussioning Street, but where's our Nintendo Mario Pass? I don't know. Does it exist? It's not there. You'll go out there. Nintendo expects you to go out there, buy their Mario Golf game. It have less features than the handheld version, and you'd be okay with it. Mm-hmm. And them selling millions of copies of it. And we don't ask them of that because we've put them in this column of, well, they're just Nintendo. It's like, no, that's BS.
I'm just a simple game maker. I don't know these things, like the caveman lawyer defense, which is just silly because they've been in this game longer than anybody else. They're shrewd. They sue everybody else. They're not a kind grandpa. They're basically, we want all your money. We're going to make you pay for every game, and we're going to milk out updates and things that make you happy. Like, what is it? 3 years later, Mario Party finally adds online.
Yeah. And then there's a new one this holiday.
That's not an expansion. My brother was so sour about that one.
Yeah. But regardless, it is funny how everybody's perceptions about what the value is and why somebody should do something versus they shouldn't. It's just a weird mix. So
I want to gauge from you guys, same kind of question as before, scale from 0 to 10, likelihood of PlayStation releasing a service before the end of the calendar year. Joe?
10.
10, not likely at all?
Oh, sorry. I thought 10 is absolutely.
No, 10 is horseshit. Absolutely. Yeah, 1? Okay, well. Todd?
No. I think they are going to just increase value of PS Plus. So I would say it's a 10. But they would not do it.
Yeah. I think that they are going to, it's either going to be that cringe service that's also adding the video stuff into it that I don't care about. None of us do. Or it's going to be them either a total overhaul or repackage of PS Now, or a merger between the services of PS Plus and PlayStation Now, because there is a huge emphasis on Plus and there is not emphasis on Now right now.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give this. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you can get two services together for $120 a year. So it's actually cheaper than Game Pass Ultimate, but still it's not the same value.
Yeah. And at the same exact time, we're seeing PlayStation Studios amp up for multiplayer games. We're hearing rumors of purchasing multiplayer focused development studios for like fighters like Arc System Works. They're working towards a service. 100%.
And Mark, what's your value on that?
I'm going to lean a little bit more, like a little higher on the scale. I'm saying around a 7. Maybe not complete bullshit, but is this out before the end of the calendar year? Is pushing me above the middle of the scale, but I'd say within the next full year, I'd say we'll start to hear about something for sure. So it depends on how you ask the question, but I think right now I'm going to scale it around a 6 or a 7. But if the longer you add time to that, the less bullshitty it gets, and I think the more. But I still stick to it. I don't think PlayStation's feeling pressure right now. I just don't think they have a reason to rush this out. Similar to Switch Pro.
Which takes us into our next rumor. Switch Pro, I don't know how early we started hearing about a Switch Pro. I think it was probably a couple years after the Switch launch because it doesn't do 4K, all these things, limited performance, blah, blah, blah. Not a great screen, limits a lot of things. So, but we are hearing more and more rumors, specific chipsets. NVIDIA apparently is going to have to stop making the chipset they made for Switch because they're moving on to different technology because it was an aged tech to begin with, the Tegra X1, I think, and it was even a version of that, which is now that tech is 7 years old. So it's, people think it's got to happen just because Switch needs to keep making Switches and they need to make it with something. So at this point, there's rumors of what the Switch will be. We've seen lots of copyrights and things like that. So gentlemen, what's your gauge on the Switch Pro? Is that a real rumor? Is Nintendo just going to keep Nintendoing because now they can just sell it? They could even GIMP features of the Switch and probably still sell more like they did with the Switch Lite.
Oh man, this is I don't know anymore what Nintendo is doing. I'm gonna be honest. I'll take a back seat so Mark, you can sit this first.
Sure. Yeah. The Switch Pro rumors remind me of the Switch rumors, to be honest. When Switch, we were first getting little bits. It was going to be a handheld, or maybe it was going to be a console, maybe it was going to be both. And we were chatting before we started recording about, like, remember the Switch rumors of, we had that oval design with the thumbstick sticking right out of the screen, and it was, like, debunked fairly quickly, but not quickly enough for it to not cycle through all the news sites. It's like, is this the Switch? Or whatever, it was rumored to be called at that point, because it wasn't the Switch. It was
like people
NX,
3D printing stuff by fake, and they did like fake 100%. Renders.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So, and the Switch Pro kind of reminds me of that, which, it's been rumored for years. What is it? How powerful is it? What kind of chips is it? Is it just going to be a dock that we can plug our current Switches in, and it has a graphics chip in the dock that's going to upscale things? And it's, at this point, I honestly believe that Nintendo could drop something at any point. But I think they kind of, most likely, I would say Nintendo has, if not built this thing already, they have a very clear determination of what's inside it, because Nintendo likes to use older tech. To your point, it's a 7 or 8 year old chip, 6 or 7 year old GPU, I think, in the Switch right now. So this is going to be based on a couple of year old tech, most likely, to keep the price down. But my thoughts are Nintendo's still selling the Switch like crazy, and they're basically going to wait for a lull. The second they see, like the sales chart, instead of rising up, the second they see a little bit of drop, they're going to be like, Pro, let's go. And it doesn't matter if it's a month from now or a year from now, they've got it ready to go. So if this is, I could see this happening like March timeframe, where they just say, like, you know what? Okay, we're starting to see a sales dip. We don't have a pandemic plus Animal Crossing to boost the sales up again. Let's release the Pro. Like, I could see that happening. But
I think, like, this is happening. I just don't know when it's happening.
Yeah.
I could see this happen. Like, I could see this as next week. It's here. I'm not messing with you guys. I think,
no, it's believable.
Boom, because it's Nintendo, and then
check your tweets tomorrow.
Yeah,
check them. And then at the same exact time, Nintendo could drop it January 2020 or of 2022 and release it in March, and people go crazy for it like last time. Or you could wait until you have Legend of Zelda in the year after. It's just, from what I understand, developers can't work with the Switch anymore. They can't scale these games anymore.
Yep.
So Nintendo, it's not really much of a, well, it's selling like hotcakes. It is. And this hardware will sell as well. It's really them saying, okay, so the developers, the devs need this extra juice. And we'll be left behind. Third party, second party will drop us. That's still important to us. So we'll throw them a bone. So that's what I read into it.
In that case, because I'm not expecting that from a Switch Pro. I'm expecting this to be a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X. Yeah. It's playing all the same stuff. So I'm, to me, not seeing this as something that there's going to be many, if any, exclusive games to. Like even the new 3DS XL had a couple of exclusive games in the SNES ports, which didn't make any sense, but they
could play Super Nintendo games.
That's the SNES game. That's what I just said. But that's So I mean, like, there is some precedence for it, but I've the whole time I've been imagining this as just like your game used to run at 16 frames per second. Well, now it's going to run at 30. Congratulations. When you dock this thing, it's going to upscale because of, was it DLSS or whatever?
DLSS. Yeah.
Like there's going to be those little tricks that you can see the companies that have built this in the past couple of years that, maybe Nintendo will catch up now. I really don't think this thing's going to be released and be like, well, cool, here's the next Battlefield game, or like, here's a Switch Pro and the new Call of Duty. Like, I don't expect that kind of like third party support to just be like, cool, we're suddenly supporting the Switch. And maybe I don't know. I'd love it to be like that. And just like, this is a replacement to the Switch. It's been out for 5 years at this point. Here's our new system. Like, this is the Switch 2. It's the Super Switch. It's replacing the last Switch, not adding on to it. Like it's, I don't know. So I guess, yes or no. Do you guys think this is a full replacement? Maybe thumbs up, thumbs down. This one instead of the scale. Like,
no.
Do you think this is a
no?
Pro
I think the light will exist, but like the old Nintendo Switch is dead.
Okay.
Like that will be replaced.
Yeah, I think what this allows them to do is double dip with people who bought launch Switches in the first couple of years, who realize that they're early adopters, and they realize they can then get people to double dip on a new system, like myself, who has a cracked back, and the system's almost 5 years old now, 4.5 years. And it would be great if my Switch played some games I was actually interested from third parties to a certain extent, because there's yet to be an Assassin's Creed mainline game on Switch. There's yet to be a Call of Duty game on Switch. They don't get regular Maddens, or the Maddens and things they get are gimped. And just think about that. Nintendo could make a lot more money, even more than they make now, by having games that are competitive, or at least to the level of PS4 on Switch. Nintendo makes money when they sell third-party games as much as anybody else. And when they've got gaps in their first-party releases, putting big games out there fills their schedule. Not everybody's interested in indie games. Indie games it's still pretty niche. They want people to say, well, you can't, if you want Call of Duty, you can't play on Nintendo. If you want Assassin's Creed, you can't play on Nintendo. The big Ubisoft games like Far Cry, those type of releases, you can't play theirs because those aren't coming out, but we did get things. So I think it's their way to stay competitive, and it's their way to say, well, you can still play the games on Switch, but they're going to run like 540p, 20 frames per second, which some games currently run that way on the Switch, and it's good enough. But you know what? You like us so much, you'll upgrade it, because Nintendo fans love to pay for things. So I think that's just what's going to happen. I think we're going to see even minor upgrades. People bought that stupid Switch with a little bit better battery life.
Yeah.
So I think it's a no-brainer that they'll bring in a system that allows more games to come to the Switch. And if they can't play it, guess what? Maybe we have a streaming option, which will probably be subpar 2, like Hitman 3, but it's still an option. So I don't think they're going to leave gamers behind. You just don't get as good of an experience as you would on the Switch Pro. And it's whether it's an OLED screen, has Bluetooth for headphones, has Discord running natively, so you can actually chat with your friends. that more ergonomic Joy-Cons, things like that, which is more of a premium Switch experience. I could see all those things happening. I just don't think it will, because I think they'll only meet us like halfway. And I think this is going to come out, and probably going to come out March 1st in tandem with Breath of the Wild 2, so they can really bump their quarterly sales, because they want to sell more Switches than ever. And with their release cycle right now beyond Pokemon, I don't see anything tipping the bar, and this would tip the bar to get those just really goose those sales.
Do you think
so?
Breath
I give
of
it
the
like
Wild
a
is
1.
March?
Why not? It's been 5 years.
You're crazy. That's a
5 years.
Crazy.
5 years.
That's a
Come on,
holiday
5
game.
years with a game that. Oh no, it doesn't have to be. Nintendo's
gonna
basically
be.
they. What was the last huge game they launched, excluding Smash, that launched the holiday? Animal Crossing launched in March. It's their biggest game of all time. They can sell a game any time of the year and kill sales. Breath of the Wild is like.
I just don't have confidence that it's ready.
I think that's. I think it is, because they have all the same assets, the same physics engine, everything else, all of the graphics. It's really just the gameplay pieces. I just think it's silly. I mean, the original Breath of the Wild, after once they restarted, took 4 years. This is just more of the they're building on that foundation. To me, it just feels like they just didn't want to commit to a date.
I'd love for
and
you
I think
to
it's
be right.
Closer.
I'd love for you to be right, but I really
think I'm
feel
100%
like that's
right.
their next holiday game. Oh man!
So rate my rumor. Rate and subscribe to Todd.
Fudge.
Switch Pro's a 1 though. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah. Switch Pro. It's a matter of scale. Is Switch Pro going to happen in the next 6 months? I'm going to give you maybe a 5 on that one. Is Switch Pro going to happen in the next year? You're probably going down to a 2. It's just going to happen. It's just when. Breath of the Wild with Switch in March. Oh shit! I'm right now giving you like a 7 on that one, because I don't know. Joe, how you feeling?
The way they talk about it, that game is that game's holiday, 2022.
I just think they need more time. I think they want to release it in March.
I think we're thinking too big when it comes to the Switch Pro. This is like the 3DS Pro. Remember
2DS?
That? Yeah. No, just like the
new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah. I don't think this is like the new system. This is just a additional thing.
I think they like launching hardware out of cycle too, because the hardcore fans will buy it, and then when there's more supply chain in the mix, they can sell more in the holiday, and they don't feel like anybody's getting gypped. So that's
absolutely.
my thoughts. Yeah. Okay. Well, last rumor, and then we're going to actually ask you guys for your favorite or least favorite rumors, is we heard this rumor about this X-Men or a Marvel XCOM game coming out. It was going to be announced, and it was going to be a big hit. But the only Marvel game we got announced at E3 was Guardians of the Galaxy. So do you think this is still going to happen, this XCOM-based Marvel game?
It'd be awesome if it did.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, because I want it to happen. I like XCOM. That's all I got. I think yay on this rumor.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they held us back and decided that for Marvel games they held it back for a couple of reasons. For Marvel games, they wanted to kind of avoid the Avengers stink that's still kind of surrounding that game, and give Guardians a little chance to shine and maybe get rid of some of that and air out the room. But that combined with Mario Rabbids 2 taking up the XCOM style kind of thing for E3. If you have those two big stories, launching an Avengers or Marvel XCOM game, you'd be like, well, we've got a cool Marvel property over with Guardians, and we've got a really great XCOM style game with Mario Rabbids 2. Yeah. Why does this fit in? We're like, do something better. And so far, Marvel hasn't really in the gaming space, aside from Spider-Man. Like they've got some stuff to prove over the last couple of years. And I think from everything I heard around Guardians, it was like, well, why are you just Star-Lord? Why do they look like this? Why are they doing this choice? And it was like, the Avengers stink is real, man. Like, I don't know. Like I think they're
Square was an awful choice to go with.
Yeah.
Just Full stop. Full stop. They were awful to show. Yeah, I would have rather them go to EA. I'm not even messing with you guys. The way Avengers turned out, it was dreadful.
So this,
and I think anyone with a sorry, I gotta go on this rant here. Anybody that has a games as service pedigree should have taken this.
Yeah.
How Square got this IP, congratulations on those businessmen or business people, because my God, what they've done with it is atrocious. I've heard that it's getting better, but I also see like, oh, there's people joining it. Luke Lohr he's drinking the Kool-Aid. It's like, no, there's people here. Trust me. 400 people are playing that game on Steam right now. 400. It's Marvel's Avengers.
Yep.
Abysmal. Yep. I don't have any faith in Square. I don't want them to handle any IP like this again. I'm like that. I'm done. They'll never. The Wakanda thing was abysmal, embarrassing, and never again do they.
And there's still no sight of Spider-Man.
No. Yeah.
No.
Like,
and everyone's so mad about that. I'm like, well, you don't have to be married. That might not even happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony wants a refund.
So this XCOM game could be finished for all we know, but they could be just holding it back to be like, you know what? Air out the room, light a candle, like open some windows. Let's just wait. Let's put this on a shelf. Wait till the timing's right. Wait for a big movie release. Wait for them to introduce the X-Men to the MCU and then drop this sucker. Like maybe some company somewhere is like, we need to get this out because sales, project whatever. So, but like, as long as nobody knows about this game yet, like they're safe. Like the hype is not going to get killed because of the stink from another game. So I think like hold it back.
And if this is another publisher, they're fine. Like if this is 2K and this is Firaxis, the devs behind Civilization, holy shit, you have my money just right now. Where like who do I have to send it to? But again, had a terrific conversation with my friend Ains, and he said it. We're going to only see more of these. Superhero stuff is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. This is just the crack in the dam that is going to burst open in the next 2 to 3 years. And I believe it. I buy into it.
We've been completely underserved by quality superhero games, and there's room for more. There's so many licenses, so many cool things they could do. And, without Telltale being involved anymore, it just seems it's waiting for someone to really deliver on the promise. And I could see them doing this series. It could play out well. Although I don't know permadeath with heroes. They're going to have to work a way around it. Maybe put them in like a chamber of solitude or something. You can't kill Captain America, guys. You can't. Well, you can only make him old. That's the only way you can do in Marvel.
They figured it out with Mario Rabbids. They can figure it out with this.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, no permadeath. Yeah, don't kill Mario, please. So what's your rumor gauge on this one? 10, it won't happen. 1, it's going to happen.
1.
3.
I'm with it.
I'd love this to happen. I mean, it makes sense. Our luck, this is going to be like a mobile gotcha game, and it's going to, like, but I want this to happen for real.
Marvel's killing it on mobile right now. Yeah. 85 different games that I've never even seen before, but I'll make $1 million a day. But yeah, I mean, I would prefer a X-Men Legends style rather than a turn-based strategy tactical game, but I could see this happening because there's a fan base for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, all right. So guys, we've been around the block many, many times. We've heard rumors throughout time. There's rumors we still want to happen, but they're probably dead. Rumors we're glad didn't happen. So do you have a rumor that you just loved that never happened or you still want to happen? Or is a rumor you're like, please do not make that happen because it'll make me puke?
I got it. And this will be my TED Talk. I said this on this week's Trophy Room. Blue Box Studios.
Oh God.
Let's talk about them. There's a little indie studio that keeps getting the name Kojima and Silent Hills thrown around willy-nilly. Oh man, Todd put on
the helmet.
He's prepared.
I put my real hat on.
There are way too many coincidences that point to this game being a Silent Hills game. There are way too many factual lines in the sand that say that this guy is just a dude that went in on a meme that got a little bit too serious. That is a bit in on his head. So for y'all that don't know, there's this studio called Blue Box Studios that has never made a game, but has somehow partnered with PlayStation that's making this mysterious phone app that I can't even describe to you that makes sense. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. They have been tied one way or the other to Kojima. A lot of people are like, this seems, the way that the logo even looks just seems like it's a play on the PlayStation logo. Their Twitter has gone out to make weird cryptic tweets about, oh, our game's not really called Abandoned. And Blue Box Studios, well, blue is not a color. It means something different. Oh, our new game, which is a horror-based game, starts with an S and ends with an L. And everybody started drawing lines to Kojima's canceled PT, and that this was Kojima taking back the reins of PT, Sony bridging the divide between Kojima and Konami, making PT happen. Kojima's been very silent on this issue, but the one thing that people are insistent upon is their director cut of Death Stranding has Norman Reedus and the fetus in a blue suit jump into a box. And that's what people say with a Netherlands flag, which Blue Box Studios is based off of. Is saying that this is it, boys. This is what we've been waiting for. Okay, gang. This isn't what we've been waiting for. This rumor isn't true. Put an asterisk. This is not Kojima working on this. He is working with Xbox on a cloud game that will pretend that we're impressed by. I truly think in my heart of hearts, this is Bloober Team. I think this is a ruse, but it's in a totally opposite direction. I think the Silent Hill rumor has been since last year in March. It's happening. It's real. We got Bloober Team back in February talking about how they partnered with a publisher on a very important IP that we'll be seeing soon. We've gotten the artist, I believe, that did the art for Silent Hill saying, yeah, we got something in the summer for you guys. I think Abandon is Silent Hill. I just think that this Blue Box Studios is a secondary studio off of Bloobers because they're a Polish studio. So I think this is a satellite studio that's been working on this game for a hot minute. The other thing that goes to show to this rumor, because a lot of people, whoa, this studio had a Kickstarter at one point. Abandoned had a Kickstarter. I know the guy that did the Kickstarter for the Abandoned game, not Blue Box Studios. So I truly believe also the assets they're using is you can literally buy from the Unreal store right now. What we're seeing is a ruse in a totally opposite direction. And I'm all in on it. I've never played a Silent Hill game. I never in my life, but I love the conspiracy theory. I'm all about the conspiracy theories. Let's do it. Ancient aliens, I'm right there with you. Magic bullet, I'm right there with you. Trickle down economics, I'm right there with you. These things are myths. They're never proven, but I'm here just to see the crazies go at it. So I'm on board with this. And I want to know what you guys are feeling. Did I hop on too much of a crazy train?
No, you convinced me. I have not been following much of that, so I'm going to trust your expertise and take my tinfoil. I'm going to tip my tinfoil hat to you because that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Joe. I keep hearing about this. It seems like a developer that tried to get onto the weird train of Kojima just doing those weird things, got out of hand. The dude even behind the studio went on and said, it's really me, not Kojima. And people don't even believe him. It's so bizarre. I mean, he should have showed up in rags or bandages like Moby Dick Studios guy. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Yeah. It should have been that.
And even they got in their partnered studios. to talk, like the one person that's part of Nurture Studios, it's their second party team. But like even then, like, dude, the production value on that guy's video, way too good.
Yeah.
We lived in a year of Zoom meetings. That's, dude, he's got aperture in the background and everything like that. That is, I don't believe that for a second. I'm sorry. And if this is just some dude over his head, congratulations to you, sir. I don't have an ounce of pity because you gained millions of eyes looking at your content. Even if 90% of them leave, you still have hundreds of thousands of people looking at this thing that are maybe interested in. You have tens of thousands of followers you gained on Twitter. No. I don't feel bad for you. I respect the game is what I will say. That's for sure.
And that's a problem. You ultimately have a product that you aren't going to be able to honestly judge this game without something in the back of your mind saying, but they tried to fool us. They tried to do these things versus, you know what? The game should speak and stand on its own. But yeah, their personalities, they need to get noticed. And yeah, it gets to be a problematic thing with social media. But
absolutely.
Yeah. So I do not think this is Kojima whatsoever. So I that one, yeah, it's a good rumor though. I like that.
So
makes our lives interesting.
That brings to an interesting point, Todd. And I think, like, for me, I always most of the time I love rumors, whether it's going way back to the, like I said, even that jackass that told me about the duck hunt thing or the DuckTales thing. You can jump over the flagpole in Super Mario Brothers. But like
there's a Tomb Raider nude code.
Right. E.T.
we've all been
buried in the desert, right? Like all these rumors, and like some of them are true, some of them are false, some of them are only accessible with a Game Shark or a Game Genie or whatever. But for me, that is part of the fun of gaming. And it's like back to the playground and back to, whatever. And why I love Discord or Facebook or whatever, of like, it keeps those conversations going with like-minded people who we can come together and share these fun little things with. That it's like Joe, like I said, like I tip my tinfoil hat to you, because that was a fantastically put together, even as someone not following it, like the little threads and stuff that people are following. Like, I love it. I love all of that stuff. But Todd, you just brought up a great point of, it's when things go online and they turn toxic, and it's like when the rumors aren't true and people start losing their minds or threatening or, like acting entitled and that kind of stuff, is when I think rumors can be dangerous, or the way people interpret them can be dangerous. So I don't know. Do you guys have some past, or Todd, I guess, because Joe, I think that's your new favorite conspiracy, maybe. But Todd, any stick out to you? And like,
well, let me tell you about these Dominion voting machines.
Thank you, my pillow man. That's the woods here. But, getting a little too close to home.
I also I want to get a sense from you guys, like, how do you like rumors? Are you guys usually as amused as I am with this stuff? And do you think, or do you think the internet culture has kind of gotten it a little out of hand, where the rumors just aren't fun anymore?
Oh, I love the rumors. I love it because it's ultimately, Nintendo is, I think, the king of it, because everybody creates all of these standards for Nintendo, and it's like they don't deliver it, because like they expect the moon, and they get
scraps.
They get the reflection in a pool, in a muddy pool. That's all they get of the moon. Doesn't even taste of cheese. It tastes like rotten Limburger. Like the Smash predictions of who's going to be a character and all these things. And it's like, I'm going to finally get my Metroid Prime 3 collection or whatever, HD collection. It doesn't happen, but it's still fun to get, it once again makes you feel like a kid again. The anticipation doesn't always live with the hype. But you know what? Yeah. If they didn't deliver on a rumor you heard offline on a Reddit post or 4chan or whatever.
You did.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is funny, though, because you talked about rumors and things. This is a little bit of a weird one, because I think of that. They call it bullshot, which is like a bullshit, but it's a shot back in the day of what something would look like. And I think of that Sony, what was it? Joe, you remember this, the Kill Zone. The infamous Kill Zone, is it or isn't it? Is that actual gameplay? Is that a cinematic? And for the longest time, I don't think we ever learned until we saw the game and we're like, nope, didn't even look like that. It's like, we saw that with other games. Ubisoft did that with like, oh, this is performed on a workstation Spider-Man PC even. That you could never own at home. Yeah, not enough puzzles. Well, puddles, right, Joe?
Yeah.
It's just all these things are just weird, and sometimes they go bad, sometimes they go well. But I mean, it is the fun of why we do prediction shows, because we heard a rumor or Jeff Grubb said something, and if it didn't happen, oh well, it's just a guess, and nobody gets hurt. But I mean, I just enjoy it because it makes me feel like a little kid again. Very very rarely do we get that in any other industry. Movies, they announce a sequel 5 years in advance. There's no guessing. It's not debuted on a stage. I mean, it's just the way things are. I mean, it's specific to our industry, and I love it.
You get a little bit of that with MCU stuff, I find, like, oh, this was like a backdoor for, they're hinting at Reed Richards, or, I mean, I was just reading before we started recording, they replaced the ending of WandaVision. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
They swapped out the ending. So that they've added trees, like when it's panning to her in the forest in the little cabin kind of thing, and it's slight spoiler alerts, I suppose, if you haven't seen WandaVision. But it pans to her and she's in the cabin in the woods and she's learning. I'm going to try to avoid some spoilers, I suppose. But in this new one, so before it would just pan, in this new one, they've added some greenery and some trees to the cliffside. But there's also like a shadowy figure heading down the mountain. People are saying it's either Vision, Doctor Strange, or something else that we haven't quite seen yet.
Nice.
But they've also added something sinister. But they've also added the
X-Men confirmed.
X-Men confirmed, 100%. But they've also added thank you to the dude that did the Doctor Strange theme or something, like in the credits.
I love that stuff.
So but like, why, like, is Loki messing with the timeline, or like, what the hell? Like, the show is done.
It's a Loki variant. That's all I know.
Like, that's so it's weird stuff. But like, so that's like causing the rumor mill on the Marvel side of things. So you get a tiny bit of that, but yeah, like, to your point, like not nearly as much in film and television as, as with games.
I will say right now, though, if you look at both Mark's and Joseph's back shelves, there may be a rumor, hint of something in future for our podcasts.
Yes.
Just saying.
We're going to have
Thank you, Phil Spencer.
Nothing.
There's a picture of a hummingbird behind Mark. What does that mean?
Something
might be happening in the future.
My wife's aunt painted the hummingbird, and then my drone is
no. She confirmed.
And Joe has a TIE fighter, so he might be a TIE fighter pilot in the future. Who knows?
I am.
Yes.
Yeah. But I like rumors when it's the community's enjoying them. Like anytime there's a Bloodborne rumor, the community, our ears perk up, right? Like we enjoy it. Ghost of Tsushima's rumors, like that's exciting. But when it gets to be used for the fanboy stuff, the console war stuff, that's when I'm like, okay, all right, enough.
Yeah.
Slow down.
And quite honestly, I don't know how you guys feel about this. Rumors are not spoilers. They are what they are. You know what? If you get spoiled because somebody said a rumor and it's not confirmed, I just think that's where I draw the line, because I think at that point, then stay off the internet, connect the internet, disconnect the internet, because you are going to be a hurt person for the rest of your life because someone would have mentioned that, Zelda is not the boy.
Gasp.
I know.
Mark, I know you're hurt.
Mercy. You got a spoiler alert.
Oh, well.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, just let me tell you, folks. If you hear any rumors about Secret Friends Unite or the PS Trophy Room, you know what? You can always go to the source, and we'll probably deny it because we have an NDA. But
True.
But at this point, it is time to end the show. If you liked rumors, if you don't like rumors, Mark, we'll tell them how they can tell us that. But before we do that, Joseph, tell people where they can find you.
Well, gang, after we're done recording here, I'm going to straight up collapse. It's been such a long day, but I love enjoying or spending my night with y'all. Talk about rumors, speculation, all this good stuff. You can find me over at Mr. Badbit on Twitter if you want to hear or see some funny memes and GIFs that I've made from time to time. You can follow PS Trophy Room for all the latest and greatest breaking news surrounding the PlayStation ecosystem at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. And you can find the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Again, each and every Thursday, you can find the video version of that on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast service of choice. The Trophy Room of PlayStation podcast will be there for you. We're trying to get to a couple more reviews on this Apple podcast stuff. So toss us a 5-star review our way. That would be greatly appreciated. And that's it. That's all we got.
Excellent.
Woo.
Even if you don't like PlayStation, watching Joe and Kyle go together and just show up for the impersonations, the voice acting, the felony crimes committed against Sony execs, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Can't be proven. Can't be proven. Not crimes if they're not proven.
No. It's only a crime if you get caught.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Aladdin taught me that.
Absolutely. Yeah. One step ahead of the...
I just watched Aladdin with my son for the first time.
So good.
He very much got a kick out of Jafar, and I was like, oh, it's kind of worrisome. Todd, let's share some gamer tags. So, Todd, where can people find you on...
so I have changed my gamer tags over the years, but I'm finally settled down to Spartyon98 on Xbox and Switch, Spartyon1998 on PSN because they were uncooperative.
Right on. And you can find me, I'm Canardian on Xbox. I think there's a Canardian 8432 if you want to go with the numbers there that Xbox just kind of tags on at the end. And I think I'm the same on Switch. But you know what? If you follow me at _Canardian on Twitter, I think you can add friends through Twitter if you connect them to your Switch account. So that's the easiest way other than friend codes. But for everything else, Secret Friends U, of course, you can find us at secretfriendsunite.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Secret Friends U, the _Canardian, or at @Toxtra. Subscribe, rate us on YouTube, podcast services around the world. We have nowhere near as many ratings as Joe and the Trophy Room does. So you know what?
We want more.
Throw us a rating. We definitely want more. And like I said at the start of the show, join our Discord server. Hopefully get some good times going over there. We also have shirts over at TeePublic, and you can always subscribe to Todd's OnlyFans.
And this shirt might come off if you subscribe.
There we go.
There's our new T-shirt, folks. If you're watching YouTube,
for you.
there is our new T-shirt with all of us in our beautiful faces. Mm-hmm. So check that out. Yeah. So, Joe, thanks for being on. Mark, always a pleasure. My companion on this wonderful journey in video games. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.